Handout has not done us any good.
I agree.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. As a black woman, if you have the money to give a loan and they line up a Japanese and an Arab man and a black woman, you yourself, you know you're doing this for money, the first person you will consider is a black woman?
Well, I'm different though, so don't base this off me. Because I would say black, but
I won't give it to the black person, no. That way.
If I'm a bank, that's different. If we're just talking about personal
Well, I'm
level,
saying you're at a bank.
Yeah, if I'm a bank, I would still do it though. It's not my money.
Well, that is what.
So why not help this person get to the next level?
That's crazy.
That's the point I'm trying to make. That mentality is what has kept us this way. That saying is a foolish saying.
Irrelevant what you feel about it.
Let me explain. No, you would have to ask me to explain it. We have a very high level of distrust of each other.
So then how does this translate to media? Because for me, this goes back to us, and I think I said it in the previous episode, but we display way too much, and then we also don't have enough private conversations, right?
Because what we display sells, and you have no investment.
But sells to whom? Because that's the big
to
thing.
Themselves. We consume our own violence than others
black
consume
people
it.
consume the destruction
our own
of black
violence,
people?
yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, look at the Tyler Perry industry. I mean, you got to look at all those movies, the stories, the drama. It's sold right back to us. We consume and watch it.
More than, if we were not consuming our own media, it would have died long time ago. We keep our media alive.
That makes sense.
So you feel like, or your, I guess, let me clarify. Are you saying too that even when we get with these big companies, right? So like the huge record labels or huge, movie studios, they're looking for destruction to sell back to us? Or are they looking for destruction to spread more widespread?
You must understand that when it comes to media, that's why it's demographic rules media. You got to know exactly which demographic. That determines the language you use in it, the color and everything. So demography is about everything because media doesn't get rich unless advertisers are putting their stuff on it. So go back again and think. When you look at the media that is popular in America, especially movie, okay, which is now slowly going into, cable television, who advertises on it? Food, beauty products,
Yes,
bling. And who consumes that on November the 14th, what we call Black Friday? Who is the biggest consumer of beauty products in America, electronics in America, car rims and car accessories in America?
We're just the number one consumers, period.
That's correct.
Damn,
So we buy
crazy.
everything.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So when they're making the movie, who do you think they're making it to attract so that the advertiser can show you the things you should come and buy?
I think that's what I mean about us being in a different economic position because we literally can control things because we spend the most money, but yet we are only stuck in the same position we were decades ago.
That's correct. Once you're a consumer, you can't control anything.
That's a fact. See, and the thing about she's not even understanding that. Earlier she said that they're trying to push a certain message. Yeah, that's one part of it, but at the same time, they're thinking about how they can just push the dollar. Like he said, advertisements. Everything is being moved by advertisement dollars.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, because you're in the mentality of
That's
just
correct.
consuming instead of controlling.
You can't call the game. Because you don't develop advertisement. A consumer doesn't develop advertisement. Advertisement controls you because it's built on psychology. And once they get you stuck on, you want to be the Jones. Look, Kim Kardashian did not get white people to want to look good. It got black people to want to look like Kim Kardashian.
I don't know if you ever seen The Office.
Yes.
Yes.
That's correct.
There's this line, now that you said that, there's this line that stands out to me. So Dwight, one of the, characters.
Let me correct what he said with the Kim K thing. I think it was a little bit of both. I definitely think white people definitely fell in love with Kim K as well, as that she was so attached to black culture.
Says, first, you got to get the black people to do it, to get the white people to do it.
Okay.
Then you got to get the black people to stop doing it so the white people continue.
That's correct.
And that is exactly
correct.
it. Yeah. We have so much, we actually have so much power to set things, but we don't. To your point, we consume.
Yeah, because you're the consumer, okay? If you're the producer, you call the shots because you're at the top with the top people there. And so you use all the psychological tools at your disposal to determine who consumes your product. And once they're consuming it, you can control them and tell them if you don't consume it, or if you do this and do it, you're not going to have access to it. The one thing you can never take away from black people, in fact, suspend their prison term and just tell them they can't have these three things, and you're done. Latest iPhones.
Okay.
Yeah.
He would rather take a prison term with an iPhone in his hands. Cars. Go to any poor neighborhood and see the latest of BMWs. And let me take you to the towns I've lived in, white towns, and you see, what does he call it? The Japanese cars, yeah.
Here's the thing about it. I think all Americans are going to be some form of consumers. I'm not even going to just make it a black thing because white people consume. If you're just an American in general, we are a consumer nation. The problem is that the family loses. We wonder why we don't have money for further education, paying taxes on houses that's in the family. We about to lose the house, getting more properties, getting assets in our names. That's where the money issue becomes a problem, because now we're buying things that are liabilities and we're not buying assets. I think that's going to be the biggest part of the problem if we just talking about the black community in general, is that we need to start buying things that make sense and buying things that work and make money for us, whether it be businesses, whether it be land, properties. That's where the consumerism has to go to.
Let me ask you, do you feel this, and not to open up too many can of worms, but do you feel like this is exclusive to African people globally, or do you feel like other cultures who are consuming cultures have the same issue?
Black people globally.
Okay. Do you feel like it is other people too, or do you feel like it's only us?
Only us. Okay, I did a show where I was asking all countries and say, when I say this country, what industry comes to mind? And I would say Germany, and like 3 different industries. Italy, 3 different industries. And they'll mention it: fashion, cars, automobile, America, banking, aerospace, you name it, okay? Then I said Nigeria, and they were quiet. In this room here, 3 students. And I said Ghana, what industry comes to mind? They were quiet. Jamaica, they were quiet. Haiti, they were quiet. Industry.
Yeah.
So Japan, what industry comes to your mind?
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Technology.
Automobile, anime, electronics, you name
media,
it, right?
yeah.
Big stuff.
Korea, the same thing. China,
media,
manufacturing, the whole world.
Right.
India, what is it? Administration and management, and now IT.
And
you go to Silicon Valley, you see only 4 of them. Koreans, okay? Indians, Chinese, and then Eastern Europeans.
Yeah.
Do you see that? If you don't have an industry, you can control nobody.
Now let me ask you this though. So we are consumers, but all of us are not consumers, right? Just like, those same countries you mentioned, not all of those people are leaders, if you will, right? Some of them are consumers too. But for us, if we're saying we're consumers, do you think it also goes back to maybe the people who are not consumers trying to do something, but you have negative stereotypes preventing them from doing it?
Oh, no, not at all. Absolutely not.
I know you mentioned,
so
if I try to get a loan at a bank, they may not do it.
So if I say Japan, and I say Japan is a production country, yeah, it doesn't mean that every single individual is producing something, but the country together, the people, the culture are known for this type of industry. So it rubs off on everybody. Why? It spells 3 things: that this country has very strong work ethics, strong high level of honesty, and then, Now, if you look into consumers, meaning absolutely societies that they are not known for export of anything, like Africa, for example. You've been traveling the world. Have you seen a product anywhere that's constantly coming from African country? So
chocolate. That's it.
It doesn't come from Africa. No.
Well,
they buy the seed.
You
they go
asked
to
if I've
Switzerland.
seen products, and everything is marketed for chocolate is marketed from Ghana because Ghanaian chocolate.
Ghanaian chocolate. Okay.
I'm gonna have to say that Africa might be the problem. Just being honest. If he's talking about, like he said the Asians. He said, everybody that's predominantly in that culture. But let's just say Africa in general. If there's no industry coming out of Africa, then that's where a large majority of most of the brown colored people live at. So if there's no actual industry from there, I would say it's more of an African problem, because we can say African Americans and America, it's going to be an American problem. See, we already grouped together in this melting pot. So if we creating businesses, we're creating it in a more American way. Africans, they have to now be the leader and the martyr of that for as people that are brown or dark-skinned people. They have to be the leaders for that. If they're not doing it, I think it's an African problem.
Yeah.
And even that, we don't have a strong control over this thing. You know, Switzerland takes
it just gets
cocoa.
exported.
All
Yeah.
right. So that's what I mean. By if they look at the collective, they don't have industries. What comes to people's mind, first is work ethics. Second is cohesiveness. There are no African countries. They are just tribes in a geographical area.
Okay.
So the sense of I belong to, I'm a patriotic citizen. I will do this to save my country. I will sacrifice for this country is zero. Zero. The same thing with African Americans. Because inside all of you are the tribes from which you were brought. On the surface, you think the skin color unites you. It doesn't. The DNA does. That's why you don't get along.
So what about the people, though, who are not consumers and who want to do something?
Want to is a word. What is it?
But I just want to go back because you previously stated, you know, as a black woman, if I wanted to get a loan, I may not be able to because of what people see on media, right? People will already have a perception of me. So if I go into a bank, I may not be able to get a loan because of the perception. So what happens?
So
I don't believe that in 2026, all that perception stuff, they're going to go off your credit score. They're going to go off how much money you have in the bank. If you are set up correctly, you will get that loan because they want to make money off you. It's not about your color.
Overcome that.
As a black woman, if you have the money to give a loan and they line up a Japanese and an Arab man and a black woman, you yourself, you know you're doing this for money, the first person you will consider is a black woman? If you are the one with the loan to give.
Oh, if I'm the person who's giving the loan. Well, I'm different though, so don't base this off me. Because I would say black, but
I won't give it to the black person, no.
You wouldn't, but that's what I'm
unless
saying.
I know you, that black person. There is a couple of people I can tell. I would say, if I know you, and I know I will give it to you. But not generally in my head. In my own country, I won't give it to my own tribal people. I won't give it to my own family. I'm not coming back to see that money.
Damn, Frank.
Especially when they know it came from me. It becomes the clan with the bloodline. Because you come from my bloodline, you are supposed to do for me without, I can tell you stories.
You might be just as messed
My
up.
own family members called me
Everybody
for
else.
money. And I said, should I give it to you as a loan? And that's the wrong word I should ever use.
Yes, but that's why I said I'm not the right person to ask.
That's what I'm trying to say.
How I view it, I view
I
it
am
more as a
speaking
stepping stone because I know that there is some discrimination. I want to be that person who helps the black person.
That is why we are not succeeding.
Yeah.
I don't help. You don't help when you have loan to give.
But that's the thing. I may not view it
That way.
If I'm a bank, that's different.
I
If we're
agree.
just talking about personal
Well, I'm
level,
saying you're at a
then,
bank.
Yeah, if I'm a bank, I would still do it though. It's not my money.
Well, that is
So why not help this person get to the next
help.
level?
That's crazy.
That's the point I'm trying to make. That mentality is what has kept us this way.
But why can't we help each other? Chinese help each other when they come to the country.
No,
Here's the thing about it. I think both of their messages are a little extreme. Frank is saying if someone is black, he's not going to pick that person first. It should be based off of the merit, whatever, criteria that person needs to meet. That's what it needs to be based off of. Her saying that she would only give it to somebody because of the color is crazy as well. You cannot just base it off of someone's color. You have to base it off of the credentials, what merit that they have to make them qualify for the loan. Both of these are kind of dangerous messages.
Parents help each other when they come to the country.
They didn't help because you're a nationality of China.
Yes, they did. For sure.
Wait,
for sure
wait,
they do.
wait.
Okay, what do you have? Because they do.
They help because they know of you, what you would do with it.
Because you're Chinese.
Jesus, no.
So then what is it?
What does it mean being Chinese, by the way? Hardworking, honest, straightforward, ethical. Can you use those 4 words to describe us?
Not all of them.
So you're saying because someone is black, I should assume that they are not going to be the positive things that I think they will be and I shouldn't help them.
I don't know about help when it comes to business. Business is based on competency.
Correct.
I'm not
That's
mad
what
at
I'm
that.
basing it off of too. That's why I
Competence?
said. So I use the word help because there is just a disparity, right? So there is a missing step
If there is
that
any
I would love to
business, a
provide.
black person came to me. So let's put it that way, okay? A black person came to me and said, I want to do this, and I know you can give me $20,000, all right? But that thing requires absolute painful punctuality, honesty,
Credentials.
and impulse control. Then you fail. I won't give it to you.
But you're assuming
It's
that
not
the
an
black
assumption.
person does.
We just
It is
talk
definitely
about,
an assumption.
We
It is an
talk about
assumption.
stereotypes.
Yes, we talked about stereotypes,
Yes.
but to your point, this is where,
Frank might be
if
part of
we're
the
talking
problem.
about a loan from a bank, I'm a bank manager giving out a loan, right? I'm looking at the business plan, I'm interviewing,
Yes.
I'm talking, I'm looking at references, I'm looking at the I'm looking at all of these things. I'm no longer looking at just this black person being black, because if, let's say if it was an Indian person, right, and a black person, and the black person just had a stronger proposal, I'm not going to think, oh, this Indian person is going to be more innovative, I should give it to them. At some point, you do need to lend a helping hand, and you like to say it's based on whatever stereotypes they have of their own culture, but I would say it is, because
So let
it's
me
also
share
a kinship,
let me
though,
share something.
because this person is
Let
a
me
culture.
share
Hold on.
something. Okay.
So it's also a kinship, though, that these people have together. This person is my kinfolk. I want to help them. And even though they may not use the
All
word
right.
help, they do.
Skin folk is not all kinfolk. I just want to throw that in.
Look,
They do.
What I understand, you don't use the word help in Japan because somebody gave you a job. It's because the person believes that you and I have the same thinking about community
Semantics.
development. No, community development.
Semantics.
That is
What are
helping
you talking
somebody's
about?
day.
I'm saying, please
Semantics.
hear me. What I'm telling you is this. I want you to understand. First of all, something has to bind you guys together. You're fighting a certain war.
I really think that's when it goes back down to community. He said fighting together, fighting a war. See, it's going to have to start out small, because we're in such a melting pot now to where it's going to be hard to just be doing, things with people that you have, no relation to, or you have no proximity towards. But the closest people that you're going to be with is going to be your community and your family. So if people can get on the same page in that small group, then you can kind of make change in, maybe a small way first, your city, your local neighborhood, and then it can grow to something larger. But it's going to have to start with the families first to produce better people. I think if we produce better people, we produce people that work on the same page in unison at that point.
That is what makes people to say, I know we both share the same worldview. Community. Shikoto in Japanese means community development, not for me. I know hundreds of Africans who will give you their story. They are here busting their behind. Send money home to your own mother, uncle, and they use it to do something else and send you fake photos. The day you arrive home, there is no house. It's a plenty common story.
It's a real scammer.
All over. You already know that African ministers and government are taking money from the national budget and go put it in Europe and build houses in Europe and send their kids to private schools. That's why most African countries, they say corruption. Are they building a community? No, because there is no country. So for me, I'm a man who believes in community. Anywhere I live, it doesn't have to be skin color. I live in America right now. My first thing is the zip code in which I live. Anything I can do to improve it.
That's real. I respect that.
That's all. Not because you're black. And that makes people think to change themselves. But when they know that when they come with skin color, they will help me. I was part of the mayor selector appointed me to review money so we can allow women to get into manufacturing, construction. We got the money from the federal government. And we were stupid enough. The first lady who got the money got close to $40,000 to do winterization of homes in the city. Boom. They said we should check on them every week. 14 days passed, we can't find her. When we found her, BMW, brand new hair, eating in a restaurant she has no business eating in, where a steak is $29. By the time we finally got into the bank account, only $4,000 was left. Now that is only one story I'm telling you. It became a common thing. And we do this help you, and our people become complacent.
Yeah.
I think.
And people know it about us. We blow the money on material things. And who said it? We buy things we don't need with the money we don't have, blah, 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 blah. That is known among us. Who is big on the bling? It's us.
I think in America, we definitely got a big consumerism problem. And not even just saying it's just black people that consume a lot. A lot of white people get thrown into the same mix of consumerism. But he's speaking as just brown people in general, that we are consumers. I mean, if you look at the totality, I guess, of who consumes the most, we definitely take that one by far. And it is something that needs to change. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, I think it's we all are guilty of it. I don't know. That's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, but I think it's just a lot of self-reflection that has to be made on what you really want for your future.
Because we have a bloodline. The money given to me, I should show off to my neighbors first before anything.
So what you're saying isn't wrong, but I think the point that I'm pushing back on is to never help again just purely because of the race. Because we're essentially doing the same thing in just different font. So that's why I mentioned semantics when you said help. We can take out the word help and replace it with any other word you'd like.
Then what am I giving it to the person?
So this is why I want to say we can throw out the word help. If I'm Indian and there's someone else, or I'm Pakistani, or I'm Jordanian or whatever, and I see someone else sitting across my desk who is the same culture as me, I'm going to give them a fair shot, right?
I mean,
I don't think it's exclusive to black people wanting to, and like you said, you can swap out the word help, it's just semantics, but I don't think it's wrong to want to support or build additional structures in place for someone who shares an identity that you share or identify with. I don't think that's wrong. So you mentioned it's not just about race. It's not. But what I'm saying is you also can't exclude the fact that it happens racially or ethnically.
If it happens between Japanese or among Koreans and among whatever you are mentioning, I'm saying to you, it's because over years, these people understand that they have the same value system. They can trust it. He knows when,
I get what he's saying.
And I'm not disagreeing, but the point that I keep saying I'm pushing back on is that why would I not then support someone else who I would know about?
Yeah, to do what?
So for example, you mentioned the construction thing, but I don't know what that woman's proposal was. So let's not get too sticky, but as someone who used to do grant management, you only read the proposal and you can only judge off of that. There are different types of grants where you get into details and you do interviews and you do all that stuff. But for the most part, her doing that, I don't know what process you all took to vet her.
We were talking about what is holding, as consumers, we have power, and we went on and on. The reason we have this problem, as you see in Minnesota, is because we've been put in a place where we demanded that help should come to us.
Forget about Minnesota.
Okay.
We're going to stick to the buying power.
Yes.
So you mentioned this woman taking the money and running.
The question we should ask.
So hold on, wait. You mentioned the woman taking the money and running, right? Essentially. But I don't know what process you had in place to vet her. And that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
What made her a more viable candidate than someone else who would have been more intentional with the money? We don't know. I don't know.
We were picking it from the city.
You're picking it just from the city, but what processes did you have in place?
That is true too.
Yeah, you have to go through all the things. We have to see her business registration. We help her to bond and all those kind of things.
But then,
we still got to be careful exactly on the message that Frank is speaking as well, is because he just grouped all of them. It has to be a vetting process. Who is actually on the path to want to actually, do the construction project the correct way? Who has the credentials, the representation? Do they have staffing behind them? You can easily determine who's really serious opposed to just handing it out to someone. Now we got to look at your company and say that y'all were at fault as well.
Was there an interview done? Was there a business
Paperwork
plan?
and interview doesn't change somebody's character. People have passed interviews.
I'm not saying it does, but what I'm saying are you can't exclude. You can only make a decision, and sometimes it doesn't work out, but it doesn't mean you should stop doing it.
I am saying we did all the paperwork. The government says go through this to pick the people. We did all that.
I understand that.
Yes.
That's not what I'm saying.
But I wasn't surprised when it happened.
Right, and what I'm saying is sometimes it will happen. Doesn't mean you should stop doing it.
I'm not saying anybody is stopping it.
But you've explicitly said multiple times you would not
do
give
it
black.
because I asked you. Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
But that's what I'm saying. We shouldn't have that mentality either.
It's not a mentality.
It is a mentality. I'm not going to help you because I think you're X, Y, and Z. That is a mentality.
I don't help. I help friends. We're talking about business. We're talking about business. And I said, if you're a bank and you have the money.
Yeah.
I have asked my African friends, they will say, I won't give it to my own family members.
And that's a mentality.
It's personal.
Okay, what gives birth to mentality?
But this is what I'm saying.
What
to
gives
never
birth to
do it
mentality?
is also a problem. So you said the part of, no, listen. You said part of the problem with the black community is we always want to help, and that's what's keeping us down. It's also keeping us down not helping.
No, that's not true.
How is it not keeping us down? Please
Because
explain.
I can tell you how
Please
much
explain.
how much money was poured into Africa, West Africa alone.
Not Africa,
Please,
U.S.
Yes,
U.S.
Okay, let me give you an example.
But you want to give examples that are not on the topic of what
All
we're
right,
talking about.
let's
We're
go to
talking
the
about the U.S.
Yes, let's go to
So
the
let's
U.S.
stay
I
here
have
then.
seen my own city, the amount of money poured in just last 3 years for education. We didn't move the needle. Because we have come to this thing of everybody seeing that we're helpless and let's go there and help them. When you start that, you've created dependency. Nobody ever moves.
Money, but what help, what additional support was provided? Was
What-
it just here's a check, or was there actually support in place?
I don't, who is giving the support?
That's what I'm asking you.
curious too.
What support?
Yeah.
That's what I'm
When you
asking.
start dumping more money in the schools, like I understand they need supplies the whole nine, but like what more support outside of, the families actually trying to get their kids in gear and we getting, better curriculum or whatnot. I think when a lot of money get pumped into it, we really don't see. I'm just being honest.
You because
You're saying too many things one person can do. I am just trying to share with you.
not one
wait,
person,
Wait, wait.
communities.
I
and
have
then-
seen,
and
we don't
government
have
agencies.
communities.
Forget about community then, semantics, government agencies, whoever's providing the support.
Exactly.
Let me just tell you
problem,
this.
too.
They always say, teach a man to fish, he can eat forever, right? So you give a man to fish, he can only eat the fish. You teach a man to fish, he can eat forever. If we are
that's
just
what he's
giving
saying.
money and writing checks, you are not teaching someone how to fish, you are giving a fish. That is the problem. That is the root issue.
That
is the root issue.
That saying is a foolish saying.
Irrelevant what you feel about it.
Let me
It
explain.
is
No, you would
the
have to
issue,
ask
though.
me to explain it.
I don't have to ask you to explain. What I'm saying
Teaching
is it's
somebody.
irrelevant because
Oh, I
you can't not help
understand.
and then you can't say, so you can't not help and then complain that people help. That you can't do both.
I am
You have to
talking about
provide thorough support.
myself. I'm just telling you what I
You
won't
mentioned
do
the
because I
communities.
have seen too many of it. And I have believed also that handout has not done us any good.
I agree.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. So
Yes.
leave the people as an individuals, when they don't have that support for bad things, they might begin to have some thought about what they are doing. But we support the bad things all the time. We invest in it, we consume it. That is why it is our life, is all I'm saying. For something to die, just starve it. Just put out a good program, as you're saying. People will laugh at you. But show two black women tearing their hair, it will go viral everywhere. Show them in McDonald's trashing somebody's McDonald's, it will go viral everywhere. So we're feeding it. That's all it is.
Here's the point.
We're feeding it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
There's nothing to
and
disagree
that's
with
all I'm
that.
trying to say, that you have to watch something for so long for you to have a mindset about it. So it's a mindset. And I have that mindset, and it has worked very well. Because for me, I work with people in order for the returns to help something bigger, not on skin color, unless that color had showed me in history that they always turn things around. Then I don't even look at the color anymore. It's just automatic.
Well, I think I'm a believer. I'm gonna go a little bit further.
I think that's why I keep coming back to this.
Ask anybody from Haiti,
Excluding is no more helpful than including. They are both.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna leave it because they're gonna just keep running around in circles. Helping is gonna be it's so many levels when it comes down to helping. You got the level of helping on a friend level, a family level, and then you get into the levels of business and it comes to helping. Someone helping in business is like you get a loan officer and they try and find the most solutions possible for what you're trying to actually achieve. That would be considered helping. But your credentials is going to matter if you're going to get the loan or not. I was in the process of getting another house or whatnot, and the loan officer was trying to help me to the fullest degree to, exacerbate all my options. That don't mean they're going to help me get the loan if it just didn't make sense, or if I didn't have the right amount of money to put down and all this stuff. See, business, I know back in the day at one point in time, it was very discriminatory. It was a lot of discrimination going on. But in the times of today, it's all numbers-based game. If you qualify, they will give it to you. If you qualify for a credit card, they're going to give it to you. They're not going to slip the chance to make $1 off of you. So that's where like the level of help, what she's saying, I think is dangerous, because she's saying that if the person is just a skin color, I'm going to give them the loan. You know what I'm saying? But she tried to say that she would look up the credentials and make sure everything was legit. And then you got Frank saying that, nah, if they black or whatever, the ethnicity, I'm not giving it to them because I already know the habits of that ethnicity group. And that is dangerous as well, because you're going to have people, now we're going to have the narrative that they don't give us something even when we are qualified. So I think both are dangerous. I think the only thing we can do when it comes to business is just look at the numbers, and it's just unbiased at that point. I'm not discriminating against you. I'm literally going off of the numbers on what we can offer you. That's it. And now if we go into the form of help, that's going to be biased based on the person in front of you. You know, if you have some form of sympathy, maybe family, maybe friends, nepotism, you're going to maybe, give somebody else a little bit, a leg up further than the next person because of, y'all a relationship. So that's going to matter as well. But I think in just legit business, I think that's where the separation has to happen, to say that if you get denied of something, it ain't just always because of your skin color. I do believe that in today's age, you get denied because you just don't qualify, because people are trying to make money off of you. So that skin color stuff goes out the window. I know people in some effed up loan situations and some effed up, purchases, because they're trying to get, they want you to take it. You taking it makes them more profit. So they're not going to deny you because you just look a certain way. The one thing you can do is be smart and say, you know what, this might not be a good deal. Let me not take it. So I think both of their narratives is a little off. I think it still was a pretty good debate. I think still hearing her part on saying that if someone was black, that she would just still give the loan just because, and then she said that it's not my money. That's crazy. That means your bank or whatever institution that you're running is going to fail, because you can't go off of just people colors. You got to go off of credentials. But I'll have this link in the description so y'all can watch it in its entirety. Make sure y'all like the video, comment below. This is your guy JayBReacts, and until next time, y'all, peace.